I don't know where the share button is, but
At the just refresh your screen. Refresh your screen.
Oh.
Do you see? Did it show up now? Margie, you have it? Did I lose you guys?
No, I'm still here.
Oh, good. Okay. All right. I shared it. Margie, were you able to share it? Oh, she is.
I don't see it.
You
There
lost
she is.
you. Oh, there you are. Hey, darling. Okay. Were you able to share it?
I don't see where it says share, but you're in the show. Everyone can see and hear you. I guess that's
All right,
it.
fine. We could share it after the fact. We could share it after the fact. I just want your friends to ask questions also.
Yeah.
All right. So let me start all over and just reset the stage. So welcome everybody to the Life on Track Coaching Agency. I'm so excited to be here with you today. This is all about helping you get life on track personally and professionally. All right. So today it's all about health and wellness. And I'm so excited because when you have your health, then you can create even more wealth and happiness and all the wonderful things in life that comes when you improve your health. And Andy Nam is our expert today. He's our Life on Track Coaching Agency's longevity, health, functional nutrition and longevity coach. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant at what he does. If you haven't seen Andy, then you can go back to the events that we did in February. We had a 3-day event where he just shared so much wisdom. I call you the fountain of youth. You have all the answers to the fountain of youth. It's so good. And Margie Schwarting is one of my best friends. She's my soul sister, as I call her. Our kids have been best friends since they've been in diapers. And I just love you so much, Margie. And I love the fact that you're on here today as somebody who participated in what we're going to speak about, which is the LifeWave patches that I was introduced to back in June. And I introduced it to you, Margie, in July. So that's what we are going to talk about today. And I'm so excited. And again, we're not doctors. We're not MDs. You know, we want you to always speak with your doctor. This is just something that has helped us that I really firmly believe that a lot of people don't know about. That's holistic, that could really complement what it is that you're doing to get even healthier. And who doesn't want to get healthier today in today's day and age? So, Andy, why don't you speak to us a little bit about, very briefly, about how you got into what you're doing and why?
Yeah, so the briefest description I can have about, wasting time on the show, of course, because a lot of people know my story. I had a really bad car accident in my teens that deteriorated my body into my 20s, into 30s, into early 40s. And I was in so much pain just to get out of bed, stuck on prescription pain medication. I was seeing that it wasn't just affecting me. I was in a horrible space, mentally, physically, but it was really starting to affect my life with my wife, Minna, also. And it got to the point is by the time I was thinking in my early 40s, she, it looked like she was taking care of an elderly person at home. And, to me, that just wasn't right. And, I just had to figure a way out. And when I started asking all my medical professionals I've been working with in the last 2-3 decades, they just say, hey, your health is actually pretty good. It could only get worse, so just stay on track and just live with it. And, when I turned 43, I said, no, that's it. I live with this enough, 20 years of suffering. It was time for a change. And that's when I started diving into nutrition initially. And from there, it was a rabbit hole, uncovering all these things that was being told for me to do that was wrong all these years, or there were pockets. Some were right, some were wrong, but you have to do it in the right combinations for your body to heal. And as I unraveled this information over this last 11 years, now, like functionally inside and out, I'm physically younger, 15, 20 years than I was before. And it's just exciting. It's exciting, I truly believe aging is a disease if you don't take care of it. And that's why I call myself a longevity coach, because I really want to educate people, to learn more ways to how to reverse this disease.
I love this. I absolutely love it. Thank you for sharing that with us. And I want Margie to introduce herself as well. And then we're going to get right into this. So Margie, I want you to share with the people listening your experience with cancer and with lupus, and you and I are both cancer survivors, and we've had our fair share of medical stuff, and we've always counted on pharmaceuticals, right? Big pharma and just traditional medicine. And now, fairly recently, over the last few years, we're really exploring more of a balance between the two and introducing holistic treatments as well, and just other avenues that we can go down holistically, which are so powerful. And we're going to get into that today. So why don't you share a little bit with us about also what you learned about mindset with regard to everything that you've been through?
Okay. Thank you, Erin. And thank you for having me on your show. And I love you too. And so 1996, I was pregnant with my first daughter. After I had her, I was sick for an entire year with the flu, unable to work, unable to get out of bed. And I couldn't even use my fingers. They were so crippled with arthritis. And so I found out I had lupus. And by the time they found it had hit my kidney, so I lost some kidney functioning. And of course, they give you all these medicines that they use for cancer patients. And I had a lot of side effects to it, one being with steroids that I found out years later. I had loose teeth and osteoporosis. And so now I'm trying to fix those problems from all that prednisone. And then years later, I had complications from the lupus and had stomach issues. Wound up finding I had a pituitary tumor, and then I had side effects to that and some unknown disease. Then years later, I had thyroid cancer, had my thyroid out. And a few years after that, I had breast cancer and had a double mastectomy. And now a side effect of one of the medicines I'm using to prevent cancer coming back has caused me to have high triglycerides. And so when Erin had an issue with her health and stumbled upon Andy, who explained to us these LifeWave patches, I was so eager to use it because it was an all-natural way of healing my body that is so filled with inflammation. And I have been using them since July, and I've definitely found an improvement.
You have some, Erin. You have some, it's like mic drop. You have some story, Margie. And I over 20 years, you and I have been on this journey called life together, and you're just so remarkable, and your resilience is so inspiring. And I just love you so much. And I want to share, you're just like a huge testament, first of all, for perseverance and being able to get through anything and everything with a smile. And Margie goes to the gym also, and she's a rock star, you really are. And most people don't know too much in this country about things that we could do holistically, because we're just raised and trained and brainwashed to believe that, and thank God we have it, that big pharma is the only answer, but it's not the only answer. And there's a balance that we could do between the two it's even more powerful. So Andy, let's get into what you came across with regard to the LifeWave patches.
Yes. So, before we jump into that, I just wanted to have a few thoughts on the, medical field, right? Because, I believe there's a purpose for it. When I had my accidents, I fractured my back, I broke several bones, had internal bleeding. They're there for that purpose, right? They're there to mend your bones, stop the bleeding, right? But then from that point on, it's very important for the body to take care of itself, right? Like doctors cannot heal you. Your body heals you, but doctors can just put you back together, right? So I think, in that aspect, it's very important to figure out how to boost your body's innate intelligence, innate ability to heal itself. And that's what our bodies does. Our bodies, innate intelligence is using stem cells, right? Which is what our bodies normally create. And we have plenty of them when we're younger, and they deplete as we get older. And it's interesting, in the last 11 years, I've been looking at all the various holistic modalities that can increase stem cells. And I can tell you, they're all very expensive, right? You're either spending money on tens of thousands of dollar equipment, or you're spending tens of $1,000s in treatments. Yeah. So I was introduced to LifeWave, the X39 specifically, the stem cell activation patch, 2 years ago. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm actually wearing right here. And, I was at a speaking event, and, for me, since I got shown so many things, and I've been proving so many things in the last 10 years. When, my dear friend Sherry was sharing with me, I was like, I sort of feel it was a 3-day event. I'm wearing on the first day, and I was saying, I don't feel anything, right? Second day I go back, and she's like, Andy, sometimes since you're feeling so well, you're in good health, you're probably not going to notice anything. Let's patch you a second day, because this is a 3-day event. And by the second day, I was wearing the second day. Throughout the day, it seemed like my energy was getting better. But the third morning when I got up, I was like, oh, I'm starting to have certain areas that was starting to hurt. And it was interesting. So I went down to her and say, look, I am interested in your stuff. He said, why? I said, because I'm starting to hurt now. And she was saying, oh, okay. But to me, the areas that were hurting were the areas that I had a broken body, like my neck was hurting, my clavicle and my knees, areas that I injured decades ago was starting to hurt. It was stimulated. And that's the thing. Your body is very smart. It tries to repair these things to the best of its ability of what you have. And on the third day, my body was just being stimulated with the the LifeWave patches elevates the GHK-Cu as a copper peptide, which stimulates the repair of your body. But what it does is it stimulates areas that were most damaged first, right? So a lot of times you feel the hurt before you get the repair. And from that point on, I said, look, before I dive into this, I want full, I'm a biohacker at heart. I like to test everything. And before I started on on my journey using the patches, I got a full MRI scan. I've got full blood work done, and I did it again a year later, and the results spoke for themselves.
That's amazing. And I want to get into, you've shared with me a lot of results that you've gotten for your clients,
Yes.
In particular, a gentleman who's going to have heart surgery. And then,
Correct.
We'll get into that. And I want for people that are watching, I want you to comment any questions that you have for Andy, anything that you want to ask him about health and wellness and longevity and, just everything that we're talking about today, because that's what this is what this show right now is for. It's to help everybody listening to get healthier, and I'm just, Margie, you're on a mission for it. Andy, you're on a mission for it. We just want people to live their best lives. That's it in every way. And when you have your health, which is first and foremost, everything else falls into place, because then you have the stamina to go make more money. If that's what you choose to do, you have the stamina to take care of your family better. If you're the CEO, the mom and dad of your family, everything else falls into place. So, and then the happiness, it just gets even better and better. So let me share a couple of the comments that came in. April, who we absolutely love. April said, love you, Margie, when you were talking. We love you, April. And a gentleman it's a great program following you live from Kibera slums in Kenya. Kenya. Wow. Wow.
Hello.
Great to see you. Great to see you.
Well.
Very great to see you. Okay, so let's now get into it. For the sake of time, I want to just give everybody as much information as we can, so they have the backstory about the medical community, when you have a medical illness. Now let's talk about what these patches do. Let me just share really quick how I met you, Andy. So I was speaking on stage at a friend of mine, Eric Swanson's Habitude Warrior. It was an event in Scottsdale. And I'm speaking on stage with Sharon Lecter and Mark Victor Hansen, a lot of friends of mine that I just was so excited to be there, and I was really looking forward to it. And then for some reason, for like a month beforehand, I was getting dizzy. For the lack of a better word, it was almost like my equilibrium was just completely off. And I'm thinking, what is that? And not only do I have to fly from New York, to Scottsdale, I had to speak on stage, and I couldn't even stand and talk to somebody in my foyer without holding on to somebody because the balance was off, and it just came out of nowhere like things do, right? So I come hell or high water. Of course I got there, but walking through JFK, I couldn't even walk, so for me to take a wheelchair somewhere, you know, and I have to let go of the whole pride thing, but it's still there. I don't want to get in a wheelchair when I feel like I'm perfectly capable of walking. That's how bad it was. You know, I have to be really, really, really bad for me to get into a wheelchair, but that's how committed I was to getting to do what I signed up to do. So I take the wheelchair, I get there, I'm following the lines on the floor in Phoenix, you know, next to a wall. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. And then I get to the hotel where the event was at, and friends of mine were in the lounge and they said, meet me in the lounge. Okay. So I'm holding onto chairs, right? As I'm walking through the lounge, and I sit down with my friend Michelle and Sally. And I'm like, you guys, I have no idea what's going on. No. And long story short, I told them everything that was going on with me and how I felt. And it was going on for a little bit before I even left. You know, I was working with a chiropractor to help fix it and everything, and nothing was working. So Michelle Mraz, who I absolutely love. Hello, Michelle and Sally. I'm like, she goes, I have exactly what you need. And she sent her husband to her room and brought me back one of these X39 patches and an ion patch. And I thought, what the hell is that? You know, really, I'm going to stick a patch on my body, and that's supposed to be the woohoo, you know? But at that point I was like willing to do anything. Yes. Right. And she explained it's crystals, and the crystals, your body activates the crystals, and then it activates the dormant cells. And I was like, just slap it on me. Like, just put it on me and see what happens, you know, like, let's just see. And she did. And we're talking within an hour, no joke. And mind you, for about a month, but many weeks before getting on a plane, I was trying to get rid of this. And so within an hour I had clarity, and I'm like, oh my God, you know, all of a sudden that weird equilibrium thing, off balance or whatever you want to call it, it was gone. It was gone. And I thought, oh, this is absolutely amazing. So I was just hooked at that moment because it was so debilitating. And again, you know, I'm not a doctor. I'm not, you know, check everything out with the doctor and everything first. I'm just saying that this worked for me. And I was able to get on stage, spend a whole weekend doing what I needed to do for business and pleasure, because they're my friends too. And I love seeing all my friends. So, but I was able to have the weekend with clarity, with balance. I was shocked. So as soon as I came home, I called Margie. I was like, oh my God, you have got to check this out. And then I had a call with Andy first, then I had Margie have a call with Andy. So Andy, let's talk about the LifeWave patches. And then Margie, I want to get into, you know, when you did the 60 days of the detox.
Sure.
So go ahead, Andy.
Love it. I love it. I love that story. You know, it's divine. It's divine how we got to meet each other. Michelle's a dear friend of mine.
Love
and
her.
You know, with the LifeWave patch, first of all, it's not a medical device. You know, it's non-transdermal, meaning there's no drugs at all, right? So there's no reactions to any type of medication that you can be taking. What it is, it's a patch, and it looks like this. And what it is, it's created with nanocrystals, and all it does is it just absorbs your infrared light from your body. Like all living things have infrared light. If you watch those nature movies with the night scope vision and everything emits light. Like, yes, living things are light beings. Like, we are all energy beings. And you know, it's just sort of similar to how our bodies make vitamin D. You go out into the sun, you're walking in the sun, and you magically have vitamin D. But you know, the sun's not giving you vitamin D. The sun's using certain, giving you certain ultraviolet light. Your body absorbs that light, and then there's some chemical processes. You use a little bit of your cholesterol in your body, and then magically now you got vitamin D in your body. So the scientists behind LifeWave and the CEO, amazing guy, is like so divine and how he came up with this. But he found that reflecting certain frequencies of light will help you generate different peptides or amino acids that can stimulate your body to do some really amazing things. And specifically the LifeWave X39, it reflects your body infrared light to create a specific peptide called the GHK copper peptide. And it's this peptide that is bringing all these healthful benefits to your body. And of course, one of the side effects of this peptide is elevating stem cells and regenerating stem cells and turning dormant stem cells back on. So it's very exciting, and like I said earlier, stem cells are so expensive, but these are your own stem cells with no intervention next to your body making itself. It's just amazing technology.
I think it's fascinating because, like you said, you're activating your own stem cells. It's not like you're getting stem cells from somebody else to help boost your immune system, and then that could be a problem with that. This is all your own, all natural. Exactly. So let's talk, Margie, let's talk about when you first did the 60 days, right, to detox the heavy metals and everything else that was not working for us within the body, right? We wanted to just get rid of all of that. How did you feel?
Yes. So yeah, I was really anxious to try it because you're hearing a lot about the movie stars going to another country and spending all this money to repair their stem cells, and they're saying it definitely worked. So I'm not going to another country, and I don't have the money to spend on that like movie stars do. So I said, hey, this is an organic, hypoallergenic patch that I wear, and if you wear it in conjunction with the X39 and the glutathione one for 60 days, you're actually releasing what everybody has in their bodies, these heavy metals and toxins. And especially, I don't know if I could say like the COVID shot, or, like if that did any damage to me, because I had to get that, I want it all out of my body and all this inflammation to go away, because I'm tired of taking medications that are leading me to take another medication, or is leading me to have bone damage and loose teeth. I am committed to my health now, and I am so glad that Erin fell upon this, because it definitely helped her out, because I'm always holding her hand going down the stairs because that vertigo hits, that dizziness hits, and I don't want her to fall. And if this helped her, then I know it could help me. And then meeting Andy and him really explaining the whole scientific ways of how it works makes sense. Just like going out in the sun and magically getting vitamin D. So, hey, I'm up for it. And if we could help anybody else to fix themselves or prevent something from happening. And I've read many, many testimonials, because of course, I just had to make sure, hey, and I was really happy to see that a lot of the testimonials aren't people who are trying to sell the product either. They generally had back issues. They were told they had to get surgery. They said, hey, let me try these patches. When they went back to the doctor, they're like, wait a minute, you don't need surgery. So I know the patches work.
I love that. I love it. And I want Andy to share the story about his client with the heart. And also, Andy, for all the naysayers, because there's people that are like, in the beginning, I was like, really, a patch? Really? You're going to hand me a patch and that's supposed to get rid of and fix all of this that's going on? Yeah. And it did, So what can you share the story, the testimony about the heart patient, which is just extraordinary. And there's tons of them. This is just one. Mm-hmm. And also for the naysayers that they think it's just hocus pocus, kind of a thing. Can you go ahead, share?
Yeah, of course. One of, he's become a dear friend of mine. He's in his 70s. And during COVID, he, a lot of people know what my thoughts are on COVID. Like it to me, it was just a more serious flu. But, some people's immune systems are compromised, and catching COVID, they can have heart conditions. So, he had defib when he caught COVID twice. And, over the next 2 years during the whole COVID, like 2020 to 2022, his heart was declining. He was seeing a cardiologist. They were doing blood work and everything every 6 months. And, he's already into working out. He was already changing his diet. And someone was introducing him to me and said, hey, is there anything I can do? And I was like going over, I was like, look, you're doing about 80 to 90% what you're right for diet and exercise. I said, are you open to try something totally different? And he said, well, in 6 months from now, more likely I'm going to have to be scheduled for heart surgery. So like you, Aaron's like, I got nothing to lose. Let's check it out. Right. So we got him on a protocol. He was using the X39. He's using the carnosine. He was using also the glutathione. And, we've been using it. He was using it for about 6 months. We started working with him in November. And in February, which is about 5 months in, he was getting his, his blood work. And he calls me that morning, "Hey, Andy, I'm going in to see the doctor today." I said, "Great." I was like, "No, you don't understand. I'm going, to get my blood work." All right. I was like, my blood work results. I was like, "Go for it." Like I didn't know it was a big deal. All right. So, he called, I was, and I just sort of rubbed it off, like snugged it off. And then at lunchtime, he calls me, "Andy, we need to meet." I said, "Oh, sure. What's this about? Let me take a look at my schedule. All right. Maybe next week. No, we need to meet today." And I was like, "Oh my God, this is bad." Like when a client tells you we need to meet today, it's usually pretty serious, right?
Right.
I said, look, I'm gonna push my schedule. Where do you want to meet? And we're meeting for lunch, right? And when we sat down, like he just like slammed this whole bunch of sheets of papers in front of me. And I said, "What's this?" He said, "Oh, these are my latest blood labs." And I'm looking at him. I think, "Well, they all look pretty good." He says, "Exactly." Right. And I said, "What do you mean?" "Well, my cardiologist went over this, and everything that used to be red is almost in the green. I think there was like 2 or 3 that was still orange." And he says, "You remember when I was supposed to get a heart surgery? Well, the doctor can't legitimately say I need heart surgery now because the
Wow.
results are too good."
Yeah.
Right. Of course, the doctor said, "We're not saying that you don't need heart surgery. At some point, you probably do, but we just can't give it to you now with the results we're seeing." Right. So to me, it was like, wow, this is amazing because studies have shown using the X39. And once again, I'm not a doctor, and these are studies. Okay. This is not medicine, but studies have shown using the X39 for 6 months has reversed heart age, your cardiovascular system, by 8 years. So I'm not surprised that, for him, I can't say it healed his heart 100%, but it definitely did something to change everything red back to green.
Yeah, and of course the doctor's not going to say you never need surgery because they
Mhm.
always they could even if there's a 1 in a trillion shot of a side effect or needing surgery, they
Yes.
have to say it. So but he didn't need it.
Exactly. They have to
He
cover
may
their ass,
never need
right?
it. He may never need it. He may never. But the fact that he was able to get out of that danger zone, within 6 months is
Yeah.
incredible. And I had,
Yes.
my blood work was always with the metabolics, right? The liver, the
Yep.
kidneys, the cholesterol, like all these other things, the sodium, like all these different things. I don't even know how to say the name of it. I don't remember the name of it, but a whole pages after pages after pages of metabolic studies. And I always had like a little high or a little low. Something was always elevated or like H or L, right? A little high or a little low. And for the last blood work that I had, and I just started wearing these in June and religiously, with the X39 and the glutathione. So I had the blood work done, and she said, "Erin, I have not ever seen your blood tests, like the metabolics, look this good. Your kidneys look amazing. Your liver looks amazing." Now, I had 2.5 years of egregious chemotherapy in the 90s. My liver functions were always, like little this, elevated the SGOT and the SGPT and this and that. Everything was in range. Everything for the last blood test was in range. I was like, this is amazing. I never had that. So I absolutely love it. I love it, and I think for people and I want people to ask questions, I don't see any comments or questions coming in, but for everybody watching, I do. If you have any questions at all on how you can improve your health, whatever you have going on in your life, feel free to come on and ask Andy any questions that you want. That's why we're here. So I mean, I've seen the results myself, time and time again now over the last how many months, it'll be a year in June. And it's just absolutely, absolutely extraordinary. So with regard to longevity, Andy is a functional nutrition and longevity coach. I almost see these patches as part of the nutrition, what we're feeding our body, you know what I mean, with these things, even though it's not food and water and stuff like that, but we're feeding it what it needs to be stimulated in a very, very, very healthy way. So let's talk about longevity, and how important it is to take care of the body now without putting it off.
Yeah, the interesting thing, like I said in the very beginning, I believe aging is a disease. And aging is a disease because as we're getting older, normally when we're younger, like, in our teens and early 20s, for every cell that's dying, we have a cell that's renewing to repair itself. But it becomes a losing battle as we're getting older, right? By the time we're 30, we lost about 50 to 60% of our stem cells. So now we have more cells dying than repairing itself. And by the time we're 50, we got about 75% of our stem cells that are that or have gone dormant, like 25% that's active. So, it's not really aging because we're getting older. It's aging because our body doesn't have the ability to renew itself. And, the X39 patch, like I said, the main purpose of it is elevating the GHK-Cu copper peptide. And this peptide is something your body normally generates itself. It is really quite amazing. But like, it regenerates, your red blood cells, which is very important for repair, right? It's regenerating collagen. A lot of people, when we're getting old, we get those sunken faces, you get the injections, Botox, whatever it may be, and you're trying to raise the collagen, but it actually gets your body to make collagen by itself, right? So, we see people looking younger. So it's not anti-aging, it's reverse aging. And, a lot of people don't realize our muscles, our joints, like everything that holds our knees and back together, it's collagen, right? So a lot of the joint repair, all these things can repair over time. And, a lot of people, like I said, this is not medication. A lot of people wear it for 2 days. Well, the pain's not gone. Well, depending on how long it took for you to develop that pain, it's probably going to take some time to repair itself. And, when I talk about stem cells are our innate ability to heal itself. And it's going to heal what's most damaged. And unfortunately for people like us, we have certain things we want fixed first. Maybe you want to get rid of that crow's feet or whatever it may be. But if you, have like, some kidney dysfunction, liver dysfunction, it's going to fix those things first, because those are major organs that keep us living long time, that helps detox the body, that keeps our body going. So, I always tell people, looking for expectations, just like anything else, like working out, doing 10 push-ups isn't going to give you, your packs, a fit body. It's going to take over a period of time. And, the easiest for expectations, I tell people, is for each decade you are in your age, on your biological age, on your chronological age, try the product for 30 days. So like if you're 50 years old, try it for 50 days, for 5 months, right? So, and then you're going to start seeing the results.
Which is true. I mean, that's with a lot of, first of all, let's go to Big Pharma for a second. Even with the chemotherapy that I was getting and certain medications through life that I had to take, they told me flat out, it's going to take months before this actually starts to kick in and start to work. I mean, anti-anxiety medications could take 3 weeks. It's not like an overnight, oh my God, you have massive anxiety and you're going to feel better in an hour for the not Xanax or something like that, but like the regular Lexapro, Celexa, whatever those are, that class. It takes time. But if you stick with it, your health is the best investment that you can make, and this is not breaking the bank. It's not like, you're going to spend $5,000 to go and plus the airfare and everything else to go get stem cells, like Margie was saying, overseas, and, or whatever it costs, $5,000, $10,000. This is, it's not going to break the bank. And it's something that you just feel better about. Yeah. They have patches for more energy. They have patches for anxiety. They have patches if you have heart disease. They have patches for everything. And, I just think it would behoove anybody watching and listening to just check it out, contact Margie and Andy. We still have more to talk about, but I want to make sure they know that they can reach out to you, and we'll do this again at the end. But like Margie, you can email her at warrior, and she is a warrior, 4950@gmail.com. Right. And you can reach out to Andy at chronicallyhealthylife.com. So Margie, let's go back to you for a second. What do you suggest regarding health? Because I mean, you know more than most people walking the planet how important health is, right? And when you have your
Yes.
health, and
Yes.
how, I mean, the Hope Diamond doesn't compare, you know, money and you know, things that a lot of people worry about when it comes to health. Does any of that really matter if you don't have your health? And if you want to see, you know, flushing it down the toilet really, really fast, it's when your health starts to decline. And then you have to spend a lot of money on tests and, you know, all that kind of stuff with regard to getting into, you know, the system to be taken care of. So why don't you speak a little bit about how important health is and how important it is to invest in yourself with regard to this kind of a thing holistically?
This is true, Erin. And I have to really thank my daughter, Brianna, for this, because she has really brought to light to the whole family about how much of our food has so many chemicals in it. Like, oh my goodness. And like soy is terrible, like for women, and thyroid, and, you know, and just read all the ingredients and everything you get, and you would not believe what is in there. All natural, organic. This is what we're doing in my house now. Thank you to my daughter, and to Andy, and to Erin, and just, you know, on Facebook, all these doctors. And it's just like, there's so much, though, that it could be overwhelming. But
Yeah.
if you really care about your health, first of all, is your nutrition, what you're buying, what you're putting in your mouth. Definitely exercise. I exercise 5 days a week, and I do strength training, I do Pilates, and I do stretch classes, a combination of everything. And I'm getting my husband to walk, and my husband is a real doubter. Oh, I don't feel comfortable wearing a pouch, a patch. What if I get a reaction to it? My skin is so sensitive. Okay, so it's organic, it's all natural, it's working naturally with your body. So the combination of eating right, exercising, and doing these patches, I know I'm on my way to recovery. I know that I could prevent getting sick again, and I could also repair my stem cells and maybe get rid of wrinkles naturally using the patches, you know, because I'm increasing collagen in my body. It just seems like a no-brainer to do. And, you know, like, not many people could talk about embarrassing things, but I'm very upfront and I'm very honest, and I can tell you anything about myself. And if one thing this patch did to me is made me so regular. I
Yes.
go to the bathroom a lot. And what are you getting rid of when you go to the bathroom? Toxins,
Toxins.
poisons. So I know it's working for me, because every day, 2 times, I am losing all this bad stuff that is in my body. So it's just a no-brainer to me. Just I will use these things, and I'm looking forward to May when I go and get all my blood work, and I can compare it to the last time I had it to then. And, you know, if I'm out of the red, which I'm in a red in a lot of things, especially losing protein in my urine because I have kidney issues and lupus and inflammation, you know, I go for the test for to show how much inflammation, and I'm in the red always on that. So I'm going to come back to you in May with my blood work that's in the green, which is normal numbers that I want to see.
Yeah.
So tune
Yeah.
in, and I will give you my results. And I know for a fact right now that they are going to be better.
Yes. Yes.
Right?
Yes. And we're putting
Like
that out to the
Erin and like
universe.
Andy's.
Absolutely. We're going to put that out to the universe and to God. And so it is. It's already happened. And so it is. You're not going to wait for anything. It's done. Done,
Yes.
done deal. And Vinny, you know me, I call Vinny an angel. I love your husband.
Yeah. He's
You
good.
know, and he is such a good guy. He's such a good guy. He's such a good man, you
Oh,
know.
thank you.
He really is. I truly, I call
Yes.
him an angel all the time. And, you know, he thinks the way everybody on the planet's been trained to think, you know, be skeptical of anything but big pharma, you
Yes.
know, everything. Like when they called back, you know, just a few years ago, manifestation and all that, they were like, oh, that's woo woo. Oh, really? But now they're starting to realize that's where all your power is. You're a conscious creator. So now people are starting to wake up and be like, why were they trashing all of that for so long and making it seem like so crazy and so bad? And now people are realizing there's tremendous power in meditation and visualization and affirmations, all these things that we could do for ourselves, you know, where we don't need help from the outer world because everything we need is within us, like our stem cells that we can activate with these patches. That's within us. That's within our control. So Vinny just is listening to everybody else, around him, who's listening to the news, who's listening to, society and them. And them, I could probably say this all the time. I could probably fit them in my living room. There's probably about 12 of them around the world, and they're just putting out all of this information so that they can stay in control of us.
Yes.
It's all about control. But when we take our personal and professional power back, this is Life on Track, personally and professionally, when you could take your life back, your personal power back, and you put yourself in charge of your own health and well-being with the assistance of the medical community, with the assistance of doctors and pharmaceuticals and stuff like that, because there's a time and place for everything. But, we really need to open up more, way more, to everybody listening in the world. You're so powerful. Open up, just be open to just giving the idea of it a shot. Try the patches, just see how you feel. Give it, say, I'm going to dedicate a year to my life. I'm just going to dedicate a year and see what happens. When you get to be a certain age, like you hit 40 and things start to unravel a little bit, and these things can seriously help. I feel like I'm aging backwards in life. I have more energy and I have more, and it's you have less stress. And when you feel like you have more control over yourself and your life and your well-being and all that kind of wonderful stuff, you just feel better. And then in addition to the stem cells, the happiness and the relaxation, that well-being that, that everybody's looking to achieve. And that's the highest vibration, is well-being. Authenticity, it has 4,000 times a higher vibration than love. Love is tremendous, right? But being fully you, just the you, not the you that your parents want you to be, or that your spouse or your children, or anybody else wants you to be, your friends. Just be you, and that has, because that's where all your potential is, within you, right? And then well-being has an even higher vibration than authenticity, because it all leads, the love, the authenticity, and everything leads to the well-being, and you can reverse engineer that. When you have well-being, then you're living authentically. Then the love that you have in your life with yourself, most importantly, love yourself, and then the love you have with your spouse, your partner, and your friends and everything else is that much stronger. So, I highly recommend that everybody gives this a shot, gives Margie and Andy a call. And Andy is an amazing functional nutrition and longevity coach. I mean, he's one of my coaches in the agency. And I watch you go back and forth with Mark Victor Hansen, who's very, very, when we had a private Zoom with Mark, and both of you are so well versed in the leaders in this industry, not just RFK, but people, you were rattling off names that I never even heard of yet. I'm going to get to know them. But, you are so incredibly well versed in everything having to do with health and well-being. And I just love you so much. And I love the fact that you're part of the agency. And Margie, I love you so much also. So let's get your information up here again, because I know we have a hard stop. So
we're actually good, because I thought we're an hour later. So we're good. But I do have
yes.
Yeah, we got some time. We're good.
Oh, all right. Well, this Margie, let's chat a little more. Okay, because Andy has a TV show, and he had that I'm a part of also. It's Andy's TV show, the Chronically Healthy Collective, which I absolutely love being a part of that. And so he has a recording an hour from now. I thought it was 10 minutes from now.
Yes, sorry. The whole CSD, ESD. Oh my gosh.
I know. It's all good. I deal with people all around the world, so I'm constantly trying to figure out, different time zones and all around the world. It's fun. I love it. All right. So again, for everybody watching, just feel free to ask any questions. We're here for the Q&A. We're here to help you. And again, just share this. So Margie, why don't you share just a little bit more about Brianna? Like, I love Brianna. I love you. I love you, and Faith, you too. And my three, Brendan, Danny, and Maggie, because they're all friends. And Brianna, she's in her 20s, mom of two, and she knows so much. She's making her own soap.
Nurse. Yes.
She's a nurse. A nurse, but she went really deep into getting rid of. She was like you, Andy, way ahead of her time, for somebody who's just been doing this for a few years, because she's so young. She's so young. but she's brilliant at what she does. So let's
Oh,
of
that's
you,
nice.
Margie, let's start with you. Talk about the changes that you made in your house, to help get rid of like the toxins and stuff like that, like what Brianna taught you. And Andy, I want you to also get rid of to talk about how you got rid of the hyperbaric chamber. Not you didn't get rid of it, but you don't need it. You saved 3 hours a day with not needing the hyperbaric chamber as much for your clients. But Margie, let's start with you with the things that you got rid of thanks to Brianna and the education that she brought.
Yes, so I was very fortunate to have her live with us for a while with my grandson Lucas, and the funny thing is, like, well, I go to Disney a lot, and I was just noticing, my husband and I were there, and we're like, wow, there's just so many heavy people, and you know what they're all eating at Disney? Candy apples, cheese doodles, cotton candy. Oh, everything bad for you, which I can't, I like Disney, I feel like should change that ways and promote healthier eating. And
Yeah.
like I was talking to Andy one day and he was teaching me about, what's good to eat and what's not. And then like say you just go and you want to have an apple and you're like, okay, I'd like to peel the skin off of it, to get the chemicals off. But think about it. The chemicals don't just stay on the skin. It's absorbed in that apple. So why not buy organic? And then you don't have to worry about the chemicals. But I was just, back to Brianna and her son, you know, she doesn't want him to have cupcakes. She doesn't want to have cake. And old school people in our family are like, oh, that's so mean. Why can't he have the cupcake? Why can't he have the cake? It's so good. Or why not that blue frosted cupcake with all the chemicals in the food dye and the food coloring? And she said, yeah, because I don't want him to have it. You know what? I tell you, Costco has a lot of good alternatives, for kids, all natural things. And she just decided to make everything herself. She made, down to little gummies that and the laundry detergent, the dishwashing soap. She even makes me soap. I ask her, oh, can you put some coffee grinds in it? Because I like the exfoliating. Sure, Mom. Yes, yes. So I really miss her being here because I'm running out of all these things. But, to end a long story short, because I'm talking a lot,
No, it's all
everybody
powerful.
was questioning her. And now that I really get it, and I'm got rid of, I just donated, sorry to the people I donated, all the bad canned food and, other stuff like that, and I have all natural ingredients and everything that's healthy for us in my house. Thank you to my daughter. And now I feel like I really should keep wearing this X39 because for all these years that I have been putting all these bad chemicals, this is helping to get it out of my body.
Yeah.
And I have so much energy. People can't believe me at 55. Like I am raring to go. As soon as I get up at 7 in the morning, I'm right at the gym. I spend 2 hours there doing high intense classes. And then I still come home and I could like clean the whole house and make a dinner and,
Yeah. Yeah.
and,
You're amazing.
the actress that's doing it, that's great because I remember thinking I was just going to die when I was getting better from breast cancer. I mean, I didn't just have breast cancer. I had the most aggressive kind of cancer that thank God I got there because I was going to die 3 months later if I waited. And then my body rejected the expanders that you get before you get like breast implants. And I had a very bad infection and I was in the hospital for over a week with like this black dead skin. And I had to redo the whole surgery. And that's because I have lupus and it rejects things in your body. It's like always thinking you're sick and it's always attacking your other organs or whatnot and your skin, other things in your body. And I'm just hoping like in a year from now that I continue using these patches, I have better stories to tell you about how I am just enjoying life and I am not sick because
That's
I'm sick of
right.
being sick.
That's right. That's right.
Yes.
And thank God that there is something like this,
I think so.
for you and me and everybody to
Mhm.
wear. You went through, I watched the whole thing. You went through so much, you're incredible. And again, a massive example for perseverance and never giving up and smiling through the whole thing. You had a pink party. We were at your pink party and, I mean, you were just absolutely amazing through the whole thing. And Margie is an avid gym goer. And, you know, usually when you hit around 50, when you kneel down to pick something up, it's very hard to get back up again. Like, you're like, okay, what else can I do while I'm down here picking things up? But she squats with her grandchildren and just squats next to her grandson and stays there for as long as she wants, you know, and just you're so strong mentally and physically, you know,
Well, I
like,
appreciate that. Thank you.
you are so good. And I'll have like a rotisserie chicken in my refrigerator. And she's like, oh, the plastic, you can't eat the cooked ones in the plastic. I'm like, ooh, I didn't know that, you know, and then I never bought those again. And then I bought a oven stuffer that I was like, I can put this in the oven and cook it myself. And she's like, no, you want to get one that's not seasoned first.
Right.
So I'm always learning from you and Andy, but Margie and I, 20 years, soul sisters, you know,
We've been through a lot together, and we try everything together, and you know,
yeah, and we have a lot of
yes,
fun.
we fail, we cry, we laugh. It's just
We've had a lot of good times. We've had a lot of fun over the years, over the decade.
Yes,
A lot of crazy times, but you know what? The good always outweighed the bad. And all right, so there's a general. No, wait. I thought oh, here it is. Sherry
Yeah,
said,
she's the one that actually introduced me to LifeWave.
oh,
right?
really? Oh, well, thank you so much,
Sherry.
Sherry. We all thank you.
Yes.
We all thank you because it's made such a difference in our lives. And that's why I'm doing this Facebook Live, because, you know, if I don't believe in something, I'm not going to hop on a Facebook Live to my people and promote something if I don't think it's going to be in their best interest. Because I always say, whenever I wrap up an affirmation, whenever I do, it's for the highest good of all concerned. My intention is never to go in for just me, you know, and just it's always for the highest good of all concerned. So when I see something or meet somebody that I feel needs to be highlighted, you know, I'm going to take the time to highlight it because it's for the highest good of all concerned. And humanity all over the world needs this because we're so wrapped up in what's going on in the 3D and depending on the 3D for everything, when really everything we need is within us. So if we can start to stimulate, whether it's through mindset work, breath work, you know, any exercise, anything, these patches that stimulate stem cells, if we can stimulate from within, why not? Yes. That's where all our power is, you know, and they've written books about the hidden power forever. Everything we need is within us, you know, so I love the gentleman who founded this, and I've watched many videos on him. Pure genius. All right. So thank you, Sherry. Love this. Thank you. All right. Andy, let's talk about how you were using a hyperbaric chamber for your clients.
Yeah.
Right?
You know, before I even dive into that, I just want to touch a few points that Margie was saying, you know, because it is so important now. For us, we're officially all seniors. I'm turning 55 this year also. And I was joking with friends, we can move to a senior home facility and enjoy the rest of our lives. And my friends are saying, man, you're going to be looking really weird working there with all the energy you got there, right? But, you know, it's interesting, you know, looking back now, you know, just a short 20 years ago, I was in really crappy health. And you know, like for Margie, for your daughter in your 20s, that's when we should learn about how your body regenerates itself. And as we get older, you know, in the beginning, Aaron, you're talking about, you know, we all want to help for whatever reason. Some people need it to take care of the family. Some people want to make change or continue to make change. We talked about Mark Victor Hansen, and there's been a lot of people keeping this sore on the down low. They use it because they want to improve their health. And these people, let's say one of them is Captain Kirk. Okay. If you guys know who Star Trek Captain Kirk is.
Yes.
You know, he's all about science. You hear about him talking about advances in technology. He was at the LifeWave convention talking about how he uses it and how it has changed his life. Partner of Mark Victor Hansen also came on stage, and I'm not going to drop names. He also talked about how he's using the product. So like the people here, we want to help continue our change. We want to change the world. This is going to allow us to do that. And even someone like you just mentioned, you know, the head of HHS, Well, he's also using it, and he's changing our whole landscape of how medicine is going to be used, how food is. So, like, these people are using it. They're not actively promoting it, but they know they need it to help them reverse age, where they can continue making a change in people's lives, right?
I love it. And
Mhm.
you know, yeah. And they yeah. I just can't I just pray to God that one day everybody is doing this, because it's like you said, it doesn't affect it doesn't have a negative effect if you're taking medicine. There's no contraindication. You know, it's
It's
working with your
hyperallergenic.
own body,
Yeah.
right? It's working with your own body to heal your body. Now, what if what if you have pain? And I want to get into the hyperbaric chamber also, but what if your body is in pain? Like Margie's husband, Vinny, the guy's his back, his shoulders, like he's always in pain, you know, and he's like, I don't know, these patches, like really a patch, like the guy just, you know, he works his butt off, and he does a lot of physical labor. So what could he do? Because I want his pain to go away. And I'm sure Margie wants his pain to go away more than I do, you know?
Yes.
So what can he do to help his pain go away?
Well, I think, Margie hit a lot of the good points. A lot of people, they think exercising and eating better is good enough, but depending on the type of damage, regarding if it's physical or what you're eating, we're constantly having things around us that's causing inflammation, right? It's the air that we breathe, the water we're drinking, the exercise, the work environment that you're working out with, right? Like, I feel so sorry in Texas here. We have all those workers working outside on the roads at 100 degrees, but they're breathing in the tar and all this. These are all chemicals that are toxic to your body. And unfortunately, eating better and exercising is not going to help with that, right? So we really need to have ways to help our body repair itself and get rid of some of these things. So, when people are saying they're having problems with their back or, their neck, a lot of times they may not be physical injury. You may have inflammation in your body somewhere else that's emulating in those points. And that's where like acupuncture, acupressure comes in, right? Something could be affecting here, but the pain comes somewhere else, right? So, I think the food, eating better is definitely important. But like I said, getting the toxins out, the X39 up elevates glutathione by 30%, and glutathione is a master antioxidant in our body. And Margie and you, we talk about this all the time. And glutathione detoxes heavy metals. We're exposed to heavy metals all the time. It detoxes chemicals. Some people, with the shot, they got all these heavy metals in their body. And what's happening is when your body is ladled with all these chemicals, heavy metals, these things that we don't know, it's triggering genes. It's turning genes on. So we're seeing a lot of people starting to have all these autoimmune conditions, or people getting sick every 2 weeks. And these things, it's a flu. I think, well, the flu's around us all year long. If you're getting sick or not, it depends on how your immune system is. But if your immune system is compromised, and now, you got these things flipping on genes for cancer, flipping on for lupus, heart attack, we need to turn these genes off. And the beauty of the X39, the GHKCU, actually resets 4,000 genes back to a normal state, like to a healthier state, right? So these are things you're not going to feel, right? But they're literally turning off the off switch for things that can go bad in the future, right? And, talking about hyperbaric chamber, in the past, me and I, we use the hyperbaric chamber. We don't actually own one yet, but we're going out to use it. And depending if you're buying a package, it's anywhere from $85 to $100 a session, right? But you need to use it about an hour, 2 to 3 times a week before you start generating the stem cells. So if you do the math, that's $1,200 a month before you start seeing the results.
Yeah.
Right. And then, Margie was talking about stem cell infusions. What people don't tell you is it's $5,000 to $10,000 a treatment, but they'll tell you probably need 6 to 10 treatments.
Wow.
So you do the math, and then they'll also tell you in small letters, there's 30% chance it's going to work for you. So here you are, 30% chance it's going to work for you, and you're going to spend $60,000 plus. And we actually had a young, I had a young friend that told me he did go down south, spend $60,000 because he had a back injury with no difference. right? But unfortunately, he didn't stick with the X39 to see how long he stuck it for 30 days, and then he was off, right? So at the end of the day, Aaron, it still comes down to your beliefs. Like, what are you willing to do to make change? But the crazy thing is, this is just the price of a coffee each day. It's about $3.50 a day. What do you spend
Right.
$3.50 a day to make your health worse? I'm not even talking about better, that you can cut out and change that to spend it on this. It's beyond affordable. This is something that's going to heal your body. And for most of us, reverse the damage that we have done over the last 20, 30, 40 years,
Right. It's just amazing. And we don't want to have any, the disclaimer is, we're looking for it to help you, obviously, but you won't know until you try to do it, because I don't guarantee anything in life
Of
at
course.
all, ever. Like I say, this can help, this, I won't say this will, but at the end of the day, I can't see how it can't, because of everything that it does. I honestly, and I believe me, I researched it to no end, because that's what I do. And it,
Right.
I can't figure out how it can't help. It does everything that it does can only help.
Yes.
That's it. No harm, based on all my research, because it's working with your own body, and it can only help. So, and it's extremely affordable. And I love you two so much. And we're running out of time, and I want to come back on, it's at another point, Margie, maybe next month after you get your blood test done.
That sounds great.
Right. With the two of you. And just, like my blood test improved dramatically. I feel so much better ever since I started using these, and it's just absolutely incredible. So, closing thoughts as we're going. So, Margie, let's start with you. Everybody can reach you at warrior4950@gmail.com. And what is your closing thought?
Well, I didn't do this to like make money off of it or anything, and it's not why I'm here with you two. I just, as I said, I really, want to improve myself, and you know how much I love all my friends and family, and I want to improve everybody else's health. And if this is some way to do it, I hope that you'll try it. At least try it, because I love you all.
We're all of Margie's friends and family, and I know you all. Make sure that you reach out to Margie and talk about this further, because it's worth the conversation, and they know that I love them, and it's I would love for them to continue the conversation with you. All right. And thank you for that closing thought. And you can reach Margie again, reach out to her. Friends and family have our sale, but we do not give the sale on Facebook. You can reach, if you're watching Margie on her Facebook page or anywhere that you see this, that you see the show, you can reach out to her at warrior4950@gmail.com. Amazing story, Margie. You're a massive inspiration. And I look forward to hearing, what people have to say when they hear this. So thank you. And then Andy, your closing thought?
Yeah, my closing thought is, there's a saying from one of the mentors I learned when I started on this journey, and he said that we're living too short and dying too long. Right. And, it really hits home, because so many people are riddled with chronic conditions. And, modern medicine, you're going to live to 80, 90, but you're going to be dying for the last 30, 40 years. Right. So for me, it's like me and my wife and me, Minna, when we started our show and we started this mission, is like, our motto is love what you live and live what you love. Right. We need to move forward and enjoy life as we're getting older, not just when we're younger, but enjoy life as we age. And when I'm saying age, as the number of our driver's license gets bigger, it doesn't mean that we're getting older. It's just as the number gets older. So, it is really important. I think for people at this point is like, if you're suffering from a chronic condition, or you just want to make the next step forward to improve one aspect of health, decide today, because 5 years from now, 10 years from now, I can guarantee you your health is going to drop in such a way that it's too late to turn things around. So like I said, don't live too short and die too long. To me, that stuck with me for 13 years, and I'm seeing it around me every day. I'm seeing it around me every day for the people that's refusing to make one small change in their life. So reach out to us, reach out to Aaron, reach out to Margie, reach out to me. My email's right there. I would love to help everyone do that one step forward to, help you to live a long and healthy life.
I love that. Thank you. And, people set themselves up for success financially with saving for retirement and all this other stuff. Why not set yourself up for success with regard to health? And this way your retirement, when you do have all of that nest egg and everything else, you can enjoy it that much more because you took the time now to make sure that the golden years are the best that they could possibly be. And my closing thought when you said, I can't, it's back there, but I have a quote that I made up in a hospital bed in 1991 with the cancer diagnosis when they kept telling me I was going to die. Mm-hmm. And I wrote down my quote that said, celebrate life and you'll have a life worth celebrating. I didn't want to hear all the negativity. This is horrible thing's going to happen. That horrible thing could happen and all this one. So I wrote down, celebrate life and you'll have a life worth celebrating. So I celebrate, which is gratitude. I found something to celebrate throughout the day, and I still do. I live by that. Celebrate life and have a life worth celebrating. So for anybody looking to join our community on Facebook also, you could join. It's at Life on Track events, and this recording will be there as well. So you can join us at facebook.com/groups/Life on Track events. And if you want to reach out to me, you can go to you can go to erinlay.com, which is here. All right, erinlay.com. So, and again, Andy is a functional nutrition and longevity coach. So if you're looking to hire him also as a coach, if you're looking to have a discovery call with him, I highly recommend it. That he's a wealth of wisdom, of information with regard to this. So please reach out to Andy and set up a discovery call with him. Thank you, Andy. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Erin, for having us on your show.
Thank you for being here. Let me get rid of this. I know. And I can't wait to do it again next month. You're so good.
Sounds great.
Thank you. All right, you guys, have a great day. Have a magnificent day. And always remember to live onward and upward. Love you.
Yes.
Love you.